Hello again and welcome to Yoga with Sarah Trapani. Today's practice is a great general level flow class and I hope you enjoy, so grab your mat and let's practice together. Let's come together in an upright cross-legged seat, gently closing your eyes and tuning into the two sitting bones, dropping equally and evenly down toward the earth. And from that rooted quality of the sitting bones downward, you feel the lift and length of your spine right up through the crown of the head, and the shoulder blades gliding down the back so the collarbones are broad. Scan your body and check in with how you feel for a couple of moments, arriving in your practice and taking hands to heart center. Everything else outside the space of the moment falls away as you set your intention for this practice and what you want to cultivate in this time on your mat today. Now, as you inhale, start to reach your fingertips forward and open, palms up on the inhale. Exhale, belly in, lean back, and palms press. Inhale, open, palms up. Exhale, belly in, palms press. Work with that a couple times. So we're just warming up a little bit with some movement and breath. On the inhale, looking up. Exhale, hugging in. Maybe hover the feet off the ground for a moment. And inhale. And exhale, hover. Cross your other ankle on top. And inhale, open. And exhale, squeeze in. Press. Inhale, open. Exhale and press. One more time, inhale to open. And exhale, knees in, press, uncross, flex your feet, zip your big toes together, turn your palms to face up. Feeling the center of the chest lift up. We're going to inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, cross your ankles, roll over your knees. Come into your tabletop position. In tabletop, tuck your toes if they aren't already, and then press the hips back toward the heels, coming into active extended child's pose. So we're stretching the sitting bones away from the heels of your hands. And then on your inhale, wave forward. Spread your collarbones. Wake up your arms and practice your form in your chaturanga by pointing your elbows toward your heels, hugging your elbows in quite a bit, and then lowering down to bring your arm bones parallel to your mat. Then exhale, lift up. We'll move through that a couple times. Inhale, elbows in, lower. Exhale, lift up. It's a modified chaturanga push-up. One more inhale. Exhale, push up, hips to heels. Now lift your knees and slide the hips right up into downward dog. Breathing there and feeling the length from the pinkies right up through the hips. Drop your right heel down and press more through the heel of your left hand. Feeling that cross body stretch from the right heel all the way into the left fingertips. Then switch, left heel comes down, right heel of hand presses away, stretching more into the center of your left calf. Then lift both heels, wave your belly forward into a plank. Hug your elbows in, come all the way down chaturanga and onto your belly. Take your feet flat and drag your palms toward your hips for any amount of cobra pose back bend. On your inhale, gaze up. Exhale, lower down, tuck your toes. We're going to press back hips to heels, coming into tented fingers. As you send the hips back, lift up onto tented fingers, Hasta Bandha. Now lift your belly and walk your fingertips all the way over to the right, crunching that right side and peeling open that left side seam from the pinky all the way to the hip. Breathing, filling that left lower back and hip with the space of your breath. Then walk your fingertips back to center. Walk your fingertips over to the left. Peek at your left hip. Your right ribs spiraling around toward the midline. And every breath fills that whole right side from the pinky all the way to the right hip. Good. Then walk your fingertips back to center. We're going to lift the belly and slide your right foot through right between the hands. Right knee is over the heel. Drop your tail. Draw your shoulder blades down onto the back. And then sweep the arms overhead into crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Spread the toes on your right foot. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release your hands to frame your front foot. Then we're going to heel toe that right foot toward the outside edge of your mat. Your right toes are pointing right toward the front of your mat, and both hands are going to come to the inside of that right heel into plank pose arms. Hug your right knee into the upper arm, then lift your left thigh. Lift your left belly. Lift your left hip point in space. And lift the back of the head. Good. Then lower that left knee down. Take the top of your left foot flat. Now planting the palms, we're going to tuck the left toes again. Lift your left thigh. Spin that left heel down. Now your left toes are pointing toward the left corner of your mat. And we're going to turn your right toes out slightly. So it's a very wide space between the legs for your Upavista Konasana. Walk your fingertips forward as much as you can. So we're finding almost a downward dog torso. Straightening the right leg without hyperextending the knee. And breathing in that fold. Grounding through that left heel and trying not to have too much pressure in your hands at all. In this variation of Parsvottanasana. Now look between the fingertips. Start to walk your hands in between your feet and pivot your right toes in, your right heel out. Adjust your feet apart so you come into a wide-legged stance. Now we're going to inhale. When you exhale, we're going to fold. And we're going to hang and take your right hand to the outside of your left ankle. And we're going to look at your left hip and slide that left hand around onto your back. Or you can inch it and try to bind the fingertips into that right hip crease or thigh. Hang your right elbow toward the floor and fold. If it's too much, you can always just have your right hand on the ground. If you're able to, take that outer ankle or outer shin. And you're turning and you're hanging. And you're breathing. One more inhale. Exhale, draping into center. Come on up onto the fingertips. Inhale, look forward. Then exhale, let's go ahead and do the other. Left hand's going to come to the outer right ankle. Slide your right hand around and hang. And peek at your right hip. And traction that left elbow away. You're breathing. Hugging the belly in when you exhale. Good. And then come up onto your fingertips again. Start to then walk your hands toward your left foot. Turn your left toes to point straight ahead. Swing your right heel over the toes. And let's take a big step back to downward dog. Lifting the sitting bones up. Now lift your heels on your inhale, wave into a plank. Slowly lower all the way down, chaturanga, coming onto your belly. All the way onto your belly, take your feet flat. Reach your arms around, thumbs down. Root through the pelvis and lift everything else up, Shalabhasana. If it's available, interlace your fingers, track your knuckles straight back. Then inhale, expand your belly lift. Exhale, release. Palms under elbows, tuck your toes, send your hips back toward your heels. Come up to downward dog again. Good. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, let it out. Knees opening slightly so they don't collapse in. Nice broad space in the lower back, sacrum. Now wave into a plank, touch your knees down. When you exhale, come back into child's pose and tented fingers. Look toward your belly. When you inhale, lift your belly, slide your left foot right between your hands, find your bearings. Left knee is over the heel. And we're having a nice strong right gluteal. Then sweep your arms overhead into crescent lunge. So the arm bones are drawing back and about in alignment with the ear or slightly behind. The ribs are drawing into the center midline to protect your back. Then as you inhale, arch the upper back, look up. Exhale, belly in, hands frame that front foot. Now we're going to come to that lizard on the other side. So you're going to heel toe that left foot toward the outside edge of your mat. And those left toes can turn out slightly. Palms are on the ground about under your shoulders. Now lift your right knee off the ground, lift your belly, lift your hips. Good. Lift your right thigh, lift the back of your head, spread your collarbones, and you gaze slightly ahead. Then touch your right knee down, take the top of your right foot flat. Then go ahead and tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. We're going to spin that right heel down with the right toes pointing toward your right wrist. And then walk your hands forward as much as you can, almost like it's a downward dog. torso, pressing through the ball of that left foot. You're going to drag that left sitting bone back, roll the right hip down, and breathe. Inhaling, exhaling, letting go a little more in the upper body and shoulders. Then start to turn your left toes in, your left heel out, and walk your hands right in between your feet again. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, let's fold and take your hands right around to your outer ankles. And you can kind of let your elbows hug in for this one. So the elbows might touch your outer legs. And your head dangles. Eventually, crown of head may connect right down into the floor. Pausing there. Soft knees. Now gaze at your right foot. Walk your hands towards your right foot. Turn your right toes to point straight ahead. Swing that left heel over the toes and step right back. Downward facing dog. Now look at your feet and walk your hands toward your feet. We're going to fold over your legs. So we're folding the belly down over the thighs. Letting the head go. Bend your knees as much as you need to. And why don't you take your fingertips and give your calves a little bit of a massage. Then start to slowly bring your hands onto the ground. Drop your knees. Swing your ankles underneath. Come on to sit. We'll bring the legs around into a wide diamond shape. Super wide diamond shape. Toes point toward the front of your mat. Hands in front of the shins. Use your hands on the front of the shins to traction and lift the chest straight up. Look up on the inhale. And then exhale, draw the knees in. We'll come all the way back. Feel free to scooch forward a little bit so that you arrive on your mat. Coming down onto your back with the feet hip-width distance apart. Press through the feet. Spread your toes. Feel that firm connection of the four corners of the feet. Drag one shoulder at a time underneath your back. And then root through the backs of your arms. Spread your fingertips so the fingernails and the backs of the hands press down, and you lift the hips up into a bridge. Keeping the palms facing up so you have really broad space in the collarbones. The knees are hugging in. We're going to inhale, and then we're going to exhale, lower down very slowly through the upper back, middle back, the lower back sacrum, dissolving down last of all, letting the tailbone rest. Press through the left foot and squeeze your right knee in toward your side waist. Slide your left leg out straight for Pavamuktasana. Rest fully, back of the head, in the area between the lowest shoulder blade points. Then release your right foot onto the floor and pressing through your right foot, squeeze that left thigh in, drawing that left knee toward the underarm, and slide that right leg out straight. Breathing space into left hip, letting the right thigh bone drop down. And then slide that left heel out. Reach both arms overhead, take a big full body stretch. Flex your feet. Inhale, expand your belly. Exhale, hug both knees in toward your body and give a hug and rock and massage. Massage your back. Good. So we're going to take this moment massaging the back to just take a little final We're going to take this moment on the back to take a final brief moment with eyes closed to check in. Remember your intention and invite gratitude for anything at all. Now you can feel free to take a longer shavasana on your back or go ahead and join me up in a cross-legged seat. Thanking yourself for showing up to practice today, and I thank you for being here, and I wish you joy, peace, health, strength, courage, and always trust on the journey. Namaste. I hope you have a great rest of your day, whatever you're doing. Hope you feel a little more joyful, a little more light. And I hope that you'll hit that subscribe button and even maybe that super thanks that supports my channel and infuses me with lots of joy and energy, helps me continue to promote yoga and the healing benefits that yoga can offer. So I'll see you next time. Keep it up. Bye-bye.